What's going on? So we did our first night last night in Soaring Eagle. It was pretty awesome. The boy and I, we went fishing and just a little shakedown run. I was thinking about letting you guys know why I brought this channel back, what got us into this type of camper versus all the other options out there. If you go way back in the videos, this is what started it. We were using a little flip video thing, and my wife and I had a 1980 air-cooled Volkswagen Westfalia. We weren't married at the time, but that's what probably kicked us into high gear. We had a great time, and my dad's buddy had it sitting in his garage. It was beautiful, one of those old stories that doesn't happen anymore. So we paid $150 a month for that thing for 1 year, and then took it 30 nights through Colorado from Illinois. That's where we're from. So I had never been there in the summer. It was beautiful, and we got to explore a whole bunch of stuff. We beat the hell out of that thing. We destroyed it. It's pretty fun, but that got us kind of outside of the normal thinking of what you needed to do for camping, that there's more to it than just throwing a tent in the back, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. We loved it. It was a lot of fun, but being that mobile and being able to kind of pack up and go as you bounce around from spot to spot really got us thinking about what we wanted to do. So fast forward about 3 years after that, we ended up selling it. I was graduating college at the time, and obviously, like everybody else that age, low on funds. Took that money though, bought an engagement ring. She said yes. We got married. That worked out beautifully. Then skip ahead till about 2016. 2015 winter, we had our beautiful daughter. So excited. So the first thing we did was, once spring came around, we went up to a place, Prosser RV, right over the border in Wisconsin, and picked up a Living Light Quicksilver pop-up tent camper. Thing was all aluminum, very bare bones for a pop-up, but exactly what we were looking for, just like a safe shelter. We could kind of get around and still be mobile, but also have a nice solid base camp for our daughter, who was in a stroller at the time. Super cute, a lot of fun. We had a blast that thing. 8 years, no issues. We were tweaking it, adding stuff to it. Just a lot of fun to play with, and so simple, so we didn't have to worry about breaking stuff. It was, I ended up putting a lift kit on it, getting carried away, having a great time. We had that for 8 solid years, sold it, and then decided we should be moving up to a van of some sort. So, reliving the Westfalia days, I looked into Euro vans. Obviously we wanted things like reliable brakes and air conditioning, airbags, seat belts in the back, just the things you think about when you're having your kids with you, as opposed to just being young and running around. So we tried that for exactly 1 year. Took about 3 trips out in it. We've got 2 dogs as well. As great as it felt, it was just too small. It didn't work. It had the flip up top, and they had that fold down bench that made a bed in the bottom, fridge, air conditioning. It was all great, but it still just didn't work for 4 of us and 2 dogs. So behind that, I put a little 4x6 enclosed trailer filled with all our camp gear, put an awning on it, and we were hoping to make that our base camp. But then we kind of found we were dragging a trailer behind a Winnebago, behind a mini Euro van, and that was also just didn't make sense at the time. So anyway, that went. I was doing some reading, thinking about getting back into a trailer, which I was pretty opposed to, just because I got a fun Samurai that I will show you about, or you can look through the videos, that I like to pull behind this Tundra, and we have that trailer now too, full of camping gear. So I started looking into these pop-up tent campers. This one jumped out at me because that same Living Light company, they sold out, well, not sold out, they sold their company to Thor in 2016. So we got the last year of the original all aluminum deal. I was reading an article in whatever popped up on my newsfeed thing as I was researching them, of course, and those 3 of the 4 guys that started Soaring Eagle actually started or were with Living Light before they flipped over. So reading that, I was like, all right, these guys know what they're doing. Started talking to them a little bit to figure out what it was all about, and it seemed like, again, after doing a ton of research, it was kind of a mix between the Project M and the Tune 1. I'd done tons of research on both. Actually called Project M, spoke to their rep, super cool people, but for me to purchase one involved driving a few days at least to, I believe, New Hampshire or Pennsylvania were the closest to pick one up, and frankly the cost of them was not a huge difference, but I'd say about 20% higher when I fitted it out the way I wanted. So that made it a little tough to justify. The Soaring Eagles are coming out of their factory. Their plant is in Indiana, same place that the Living Lights were made out of, same city, I should say. So I went that route just because of weight, and I'll tell you some more later.